Yeah, it was crazy. We should definitely do that again next week.
It's settled then. Talk soon.
I saw the message. She's just your test, not your forever. My hands went numb the moment I read it. The phone almost slipped from my fingers as I stood in the quiet kitchen, staring at those words like they were burning into my eyes. Behind me, I could hear him laughing softly on a call, the same laugh I had fallen in love with 3 years ago. But in that second, it didn't sound warm anymore. It sounded like a lie I had been living inside. It all started so perfectly, like those stories people don't believe anymore. He was attentive, patient, always remembering the small things. My coffee order, the way I liked my music a little too loud in the mornings, how I hated silence during dinner. He made me feel seen in a world where I always felt invisible. And for 3 years, I truly believed I was the one he chose. But I didn't know I was just a choice being tested. It started with small things I ignored. He would sometimes go quiet when certain names came up. A message he deleted too fast. A photo he kept hidden in a folder he thought I didn't notice. I told myself not to overthink. Love isn't perfect, I said. People have pasts. But then she appeared. Not in person at first. Just in fragments. A name on a call log. A saved number labeled with a heart he forgot to delete. And every time I asked, he smiled like I was imagining ghosts. She's nothing, he said once, pulling me closer. Just someone from before. Before me. That word should have warned me more than it did. The truth didn't explode. It unfolded. One night, I stayed later than usual at his place. He had fallen asleep early, phone still unlocked on the couch. I wasn't looking for anything. I swear I wasn't. But a single notification lit up the screen. Still comparing her to your white moonlight? I didn't know what that meant. Not yet. But I opened it. And that was the moment everything I believed in collapsed quietly. Messages. Hundreds of them. Between him and someone saved as M. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was everywhere in his past. The girl he once loved. The girl who left. The girl he never let go of. And me? I wasn't love. I was an experiment. A test, she had written. You said you needed to know if you could move on. And he replied. She's close, but she's not you. I remember sitting there, unable to breathe properly, like the air had turned into something heavy and sharp. 3 years. 3 years of building a future on a foundation that was never real. I wasn't his choice after loss. I was his attempt to prove he could replace a ghost. When he woke up, I was still sitting there. He saw my face before I said a word. That's when I knew he understood. I can explain, he said immediately, panic rising in his voice. But I finally saw him clearly. Not the man who held my hand in crowded streets. Not the one who kissed my forehead when I was tired. But the one who used love like a science experiment, and my heart like data. Was any of it real? I asked quietly. Silence. That silence answered everything. He tried to step closer, but I moved back. And something in him broke a little when I did. She was my past, he said. But you were supposed to help me get over her. That sentence hit harder than any betrayal I could imagine. Not because I wasn't loved, but because I was never meant to be. I left that night. No dramatics shouting. No slam doors. Just footsteps that echoed louder than anything else I had ever done. The days after felt unreal. He called. Texted. Showed up outside my apartment. Every message sounded more desperate than the last. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. But that was the truth, wasn't it? He didn't mean for me to find out at all. What he didn't understand was that the moment I read those messages, I had already left emotionally. My body just followed later. Then came the twist I never expected. A week later I met her. Not planned. Not dramatic. Just a quiet cafe on a rainy afternoon. She looked exactly like the kind of memory someone can't move on from. Calm. Composed. A little sad in a way she probably didn't notice anymore. And when she saw me, she already knew. You're her, she said softly. We didn't need introductions. She told me everything he never had the courage to say. How he couldn't stop comparing every relationship to what they had. How he begged her to come back once, twice, even after I was already in the picture. How she refused because she didn't want to be a maybe in someone's healing process. And then she said something that stayed with me longer than anything else. He doesn't love people. He loves versions of them that don't leave him. That was the final piece. Because suddenly, I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. When he found out I had met her, He came one last time. It was raining that night. Of course it was. He stood outside, soaked, eyes red like he hadn't slept in days. For the first time, he didn't look confident. He looked lost. "You were real to me," he said. And I believed that. But it didn't matter anymore. "Maybe I was," I replied. "But I was never chosen." That broke him more than I expected. He reached out, but I didn't move closer this time. Some distances can't be closed anymore. "I'm sorry," he whispered. And I finally understood something important. Sorry is powerful, but it doesn't rebuild time. "I know," I said. "But it's too late now." Walking away that night didn't feel like heartbreak anymore. It felt like waking up from a dream I had mistaken for my life. Months passed. Life didn't magically become easy, but it became mine again. No shadows of someone else's past. No competing with ghosts. Just silence that finally belonged to me. Sometimes I still think about him. Not with anger. Not even sadness. Just distance. Because the truth about being someone's test is this. You always pass eventually. But by the time you do, the person who tested you has already lost. And him? He got what he wanted. Proof that he could move on. He just didn't realize he would lose the only person who ever truly stayed long enough to matter. And maybe that's the cruelest part of love like that. You don't lose them in one moment. You lose them slowly. In every moment you made them feel like they were never enough to be chosen first.